excited about this. So as you know, Leila and I try to make every fan meeting a special event. And we invite some special people. We have Anthony Robles, who is not our special guest tonight, but he's super special. And he came to my study club today and told his story. And I've heard his story, I've seen the movie, and I still get choked up. It's an amazing story, and can't wait for him to share with us tomorrow. And Leila, is amazing at finding these people, meeting these people, and creating something special for all of you. This next guest, this special guest tonight is next level. I think all of you, I know all of you know who he is. I can't invite him in until the music goes off.
Thank you.
Okay. Did you see our guest out there? Okay. So before I introduce our guest, why don't you tell him to come around this way, because he's not going to be able to get through. So this guy's not from Chicago.
Okay,
Took a lot of trouble to get him here. He's from a place very far away. And I want to introduce you all.
I'll give you a cue, okay?
Okay.
To Professor P.I. Brennemark. Professor, thank you so much for coming. Have a seat, Professor. So, I imagine some of you may have seen him before. And Leila, thank you so much for finding him. I know he was in hiding, and I'll tell you, Professor, you're a hard person to track down, but I really appreciate you joining us. And I know we've talked a little bit about the group and what we're doing, and I know everyone here will remember this night like no other night. So, thank you for coming.
Well, thank you, Scott. You might want to address the elephant in the room.
Yes. So that was one of my first questions, and I even wrote down my questions so I wouldn't forget them. So, all right, let's start with the elephant in the room. Where the hell have you been since 2014? Everybody thinks that you're not around anymore.
Yes, Scott, I was dead, but now apparently I am not. And when I had the opportunity to come talk to the Full Arch Massive Stress Club, I thought perhaps it wasn't my thing. And then I realized it's the Failures and Miracles Society. And that I'm much more aligned with.
Well,
For early on in our research, we would ask questions with no answers, and we failed, and then a miracle happened.
yeah.
Osseointegration, and it impacted the world.
But before we go further, I just wanted you to know, this is the Full Arch Mastermind for Surgeons. That's where we are, okay?
Well, that's very nice
Yeah,
too,
yeah,
Scott.
yeah.
I'm happy to be here for that.
Thank you.
Thank you for the invite.
And these surgeons here, these are top surgeons, and they know who you are. They've been following you. And have any of you met Professor Brennemark before, or seen him actually speak? No, Mike, have you?
I think through the Nobel communication, yes.
Yeah, there are a
It's
couple
through
big
the
Nobel guys.
titanium we are connected.
Yeah. Well,
I've slept with him.
so before we get started, Professor,
I remember she was my best.
And there was no rejection.
so before we get started, well, we have a lot of questions for you. I'm sure that some of our members will have questions for you, but tell us, what's it like on the other side?
Well, Scott, I would like to quote a person I was very fond with in life, and become friends with in death, a literary scholar and celebrity, Charles Dickens. It is the best of times, and yet the worst of times, so nothing has really changed. However, up here in heaven, it has become very chaotic. We have dental hygienists, laboratory technologists, and some C-suite level DSO executives all performing for Arch.
Yeah, Professor, you mean actually doing the surgery?
Yes, what is going on down there in Earth with your training?
Yeah, well, we have a lot of that kind of going down here too, by the way. You know, there's pretty much everybody under the sun doing full arch surgery, and not too surprised to learn about that.
Oh, with the proper training, like groups like this, these are possible things. We need to spread this and help humanity, but try to keep it under control, please.
That makes sense. So tell us, what do you think about the impact of your invention of dental implants on the future and impact on the world as a whole?
Well, this was a major issue, of course, when we showed that it was possible, in principle, to replace a tooth or part of the face or whatever with a bone-anchored prosthesis. With osseointegration, we did not know what we were doing. We did not know how it would work. We placed a piece of metal, titanium, in the body. So it's best sometimes to not just study our successes, but track our failures and our complications. Speaking of which, I'm quite disappointed tonight. I was expecting Dr. Eric Pulver, my former colleague, George Zobb's student, to have been here, but it's just like him to have failed to be here. I figure he would have plenty of failures to talk about.
Absolutely, yeah.
But having seen the group here, I'm sure we'll have no problem filling that.
Well, I have to tell you, I'm a little disappointed too because he promised me he would be here. And, you know, that's just Eric for you, so.
He means well, Scott.
I know. So, you know, everybody knows the story of how you basically discovered the osseointegration. When did the enormity of this achievement sink in for you?
It's still sinking in a little bit, Scott. But I recall it seemed so normal, like what you do when you get up out of bed. It was curiosity, persistence. It was the why. Why do these things happen? It was a natural progression. And just the other night, over a nice French, I like French food, if you don't know, dinner with my good friend Hippocrates, we talked about the importance of bringing dignity and helping our common man to improve and be healthy. And I think we've spread this across the globe in a nice way by many people. But really, it just began to sink in the other day. I've been waiting up in heaven for over 12 years to meet Dr. Strawman and Dr. Neodent and Dr. BioHorizon. Where are they? I thought I would have found one of the founders, but then I realized I am P.I. Brannemark.
Absolutely.
I did not get here alone. I had a team, but we discovered osseointegration. No wonder no one else is here. We helped to spread this, and what's important is that it becomes simple and readily available for everybody and all humanity.
Well, the impact of dental implants, and this is not on your sheet, by the way, the impact of dental implants has truly changed many patients' lives. And I mean, did you ever think at any point early in your career how many people, lives you can improve, impact, and how much money you could make for these full arch mastermind surgeons?
We were focused on research. I was studying rheology, the flow of fluids, and I focused on vascular changes in bone. I was essentially an anatomist, and I cared mostly about nature and helping people. And I think we can't lose our way and lose our path, and we must stay true to our patients, and the profits and the rest will follow. Although I did have a lucrative deal with Nobel Pharma at the beginning when it first spread around the globe, which was quite nice, and it set me off well in heaven.
Well, you know, I remember I watched your your video of your 40th anniversary celebration and the interview. And Layla had a really hard time tracking you down. And I appreciate you, again coming, but why now? Why did you come back now?
I came back to be here with you fans. One of my long-time comments and hopes was that small group meetings would help to collaborate and elevate the level of care. We can combine them with larger meetings, but essentially, I was a lifelong learner, and now I'm a death-long learner. The learning never stops. It continues, and I had to come back to do a little bit more because this guy Picos was getting too much CE and learning more than I was. Is he here tonight?
Right.
He just never stops.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely a whole new meaning to eternal learning, right? So,
Most certainly, Scott.
right. Again, we know your story. We know about your titanium rod in the tibia of the rabbit, but we've never had a chance to ask you personally about those early days of your research and what it was like for you, and basically the progression of how things came to be.
Well, Scott, there was nothing better than graduating as a physician in the 50s and 60s. We could do whatever we wanted, kind of like dentistry today.
Yeah, right.
When I graduated, I have focused in anatomy, and I studied, as I said, vascularization and revascularization, and we were studying the fluid dynamics of this. And for better or worse, my bone chamber got stuck in the tibia, and we couldn't get them out, and they were damn expensive, and we had to struggle to get them out. We wrestled them out. We then discovered, just by luck, the osseointegration, which you know today. But I wasn't a dentist, and I was ostracized and sent away from the dental world. Most of my research was in beagle dogs, not humans. So you can imagine the jump with very little surgical training to find a human subject. I went to the dental schools, medical schools shunned me immediately. And so I opened a clinic outside of Gothenburg and started to do oral surgery. I case loaded, studied my cases, but I had no evidence. And then it was a number of colleagues that came to help me through other friends from North America, George Zarb and others.
By the way, Professor, you know that's how we found you. We, our good friend Eric Pulver, he knows George Zarb, and he called him up in Toronto, and that he put us in touch with you. So I don't know if you were aware of that.
That was very kind of him.
And he's still alive, by the way.
Eric or George? That's very nice.
Good question.
Well, we had other people like Thomas Albrechtsen, who researched, and Ulf Lackholm, a surgeon. And this team came together. It was more of a collaboration than just humans collaborating. It was a collaboration between biology and bone and titanium. And we learned from this. And soon, to my better judgment, which took me a while to get to, I worked with the group in Canada, in Toronto, and we got the academic research and the validation studies, and it led to what we see now in changing humanity.
Yeah. Well, so I entered dental school at Northwestern University in 1983, and you came to North America at the encouragement of George Zarb in Toronto. And there's a big buzz at Northwestern about that meeting, because osseointegration dental implants were just getting introduced, and we all kind of have a sense of what was about to happen. Tell me a little bit about that North American conference and what it meant to you and how that came to be.
The North American Conference was a pivotal moment for dental implants in general. I met surgeons that were highly skilled and highly trained, more so than myself. I saw what they could do. I was a little hesitant, but I trusted the group of people around me, and we grew, and we went from there. And we met all kinds of people from North America, from the United States, and throughout Canada, and Mexico too. I think it's North America, right?
Of course.
And from there, it never stopped. And it's continued to this day. And now we have groups pushing the envelope, but not forgetting the patient, humanity, and taking care of our patients for the right principles.
Well, you know, it's funny though, it's ironic because, you know, I don't know if you heard before you came in, we invited Anthony Robles here, and he spoke to my study club today. But when I spoke to, or rather when Eric spoke to George Zarb, he described you as unstoppable. That's kind of ironic.
Yes, well, we had many failures and many obstacles, and we were shunned by medical practices and dental schools, and we had to prove what we did. And after failure and failure, we kept continuing because we believed in what we could achieve. But I think I have more in common with Anthony,
Yeah.
because I too wrestled with the bone chambers in the rabbits to get them out for many hours, and they just would not come out. Where we differ is I lost that fight.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you weren't a champion, evidently.
Not in the bone chamber world.
Right.
Certainly not.
Right. So, you know, there's a lot going on in full arch industry now. First of all, we have technology that's making a huge impact. And you kind of miss that whole experience, but I know you're aware of it. Do you have any thoughts on the technology that's emerging with full arch?
I think the innovation and the science that we did not have a while back to evaluate precision, passivity, building efficiency into the models to help patient care is excellent. And I wish we had that innovation and that knowledge when we did our work. This gives me some hope that we will move in the right direction and continue to grow. But the technology will never replace the technique or the clinician's ability to make the decisions that are essential for the best outcomes possible. I do think we have interesting things, I hope, at least up in heaven we do, that will help us make these decisions to help providers provide better care and to provide patients better outcomes.
Well, one of those things I think you mentioned to me when we spoke is being able to predict biologics and genetics more accurately in the full arch industry.
Yes, we did talk about that when we met.
Yeah, you remember that?
Was that the period? Yes, we did. We talked to Scott. What I recall is we did talk about the phenotypic risk assessment score, which I believe will allow us to determine with precision and precision therapeutics what types of therapies to prescribe to different patients. We can't expect every patient to tolerate the same procedure, the same material, just because they're human. We are all very different. But what I recall we talked about prior to that was the new concept of peri-implantitis.
Oh, yeah, we did talk about that.
We did talk about
Yeah.
that, Scott. And quite frankly, or is it frankly, Scott? I will give you the same answer I gave you then. You think I'm a fucking periodontist?
Definitely not. No.
And I would not just yet, Joe. You will have a moment. What? So, I don't know either, Scott. As a physician, I don't know, but my friend Thomas Albertson has put out some new concepts on osseointegration being dynamic and not a static mold or weld to titanium, and it's a constant evolving equilibrium that opens a channel or an opportunity for bacteria secondarily to come in and create the peri-implantitis. We have to be more in tune with the biomechanical forces and functions and cantilevers and materials, the bone to implant ratios, and so many other biological sources that I think one day the phenotypic risk assessment score, which we are working on, could be helpful. So to the future of what we must think of as outside and different, and a new perspective has to come to the world of osseointegration, of which I feel assured the gentlemen here and women in the room are ready to create and find and follow, because you're great people, according to Scott.
Well, you know, they were being videoed, so I have to say that. But anyway, so what I'd like to do, if you're comfortable,
Yes.
is open up the questions for my members. But before we do that, well, first of all, are you okay with that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Scott.
Before we do that, do you want to make any like closing thoughts or comments about, you know, just where we are in implant dentistry and specifically full arch?
Well, I kind of, Scott, think I just did that.
You did.
Yes, I did that very much. But what I would like to say is that nobody arrives anywhere without a team and of great supporters. And it's nice to see everybody here sharing and supporting. And I did hear through George from Eric that he feels the same way. However, keep striving, keep getting better, and don't worry, it's okay up here in heaven.
So let's open up. Anybody want to ask Professor Brennemark a question? I mean, he's been kind of hiding for a while. Joe?
I have two questions.
Yes, John.
What's your thoughts about Bedrosian leaving Nobel going Strawman? Number two, what do you think of the new Biohorizons like
Dr. Bedrosian called me. He was very stressed before he made that decision. He asked my permission, and I said, who am I to tell you what to do, as long as you do the right thing for yourself and you can sleep well at night. We are keeping an eye on him, and we don't know where he'll end up next. The new Biohorizon Zygoma, we have lots of people that copy us, but I think as long as we're helping people and we're testing our components and they're standardized, it should be okay. I'm not too worried about that.
Do you think longer implants are better or wider ones?
It depends on who you're dating.
Well, that's a very, very well thought out question. So are you asking about girth versus length? Okay.
I think, Anita, I would say that it's more how fast you are.
Well, Professor, I've heard that size does not matter. Is that true?
Sometimes you can be too small and you can't support the mechanical forces.
His implant has one thread.
One thread. Sometimes.
Oh, well, are you talking about the implant spread right now? The spread? Or are you talking about something else?
Because they were talking about very short implants. Isn't that weird?
Sometimes the short implants are better. Perhaps a short implant in a non-grafted
let me
site
interrupt.
might be better.
I just
than-
want to ask you, Professor, have you heard about the beaver screw?
Yes, I would recommend everybody have a beaver screw. I, at least once or twice, in Canada, there are a lot of beavers. They used to be on their nickel.
Well, we have an expert here on the beaver screw. Actually, we have two, Dr. Picos and Dr. Bone.
Yes. Well, you know, we did not have the beaver screws, but I would like to try one.
any other questions that we might have?
These are magical questions. I can see you're all highly educated.
All right, well, sounds like we're good with questions.
Any more questions?
How much are you charging for an arch up there?
An arch. An arch. Well, we have different arches up there. We have the golden arch. We have the angel arch. We have the Archie, like the one that comes out. And we have the FP arch, which you might like. And in heaven, there's no money.
Well, Professor,
Yes.
I knew this was going to be a super treat for our group, and I want to thank you. Clearly, you did a lot to prepare for tonight, and it is a treat for us. And will you join us for dinner?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you all.
Bye.
You need water.
So are you
Thank
gonna
you.
stay PI, or are you gonna go back?
He's running mark for the rest of the night.
I'm going to stay PI.
I need a picture with
Come on, let's get a picture. My nose, I know, my nose.
You're
didn't
molting.
glue on.
parents.
No, I can't. It'll pull my nose off.
Anyone want to take a picture with
Come
Professor?
on, come on, guys. I'm squeezing.
Come on.
You called me. I was like,
I know.
you called me on
We got to do a
FaceTime.
group picture, I think.
Yeah.
One more. Ready?
I bet you wish my makeup wasn't on. Sorry about the
There you
perio
go,
joke.
thank you.
What can I tell you? Perio joke.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Oh yeah, crab.
Telling you, this felt like
We got to take a group picture.
wow, that was
Like that?
This was
wow.
How you been? It's great to see you. Hey, how you doing? Mike.
Being amazing.
like face is paralyzed.
I know.
This is so special.
He's over the top.
You guys are amazing.
We gotta like
Here, let's move this.
bring it out to the masses. This is
Like timeless.
literally yelled Asker. I told Mike, I said, Mike, Brandon, he goes, well, he would have to come back from the dead. He freaking walks in. I'm like,
Okay. That's hilarious. Yeah. Get in here, Sven. Joe, you need one in the back here.
This is a supernatural, like from the heavens.
Yeah, I want to get a group picture too.
Come on. Karen,
get in.
Karen,
Yeah.
Karen.
Okay, yeah.
Can you take pictures?
Is this take pictures or no?
Share them with me, guys.
Stop videoing, but I
Okay.
figured we'd just video it.
Yeah.
Everybody should get in.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
know.
know if
Let's
we
get
could
a
take
whole
snapshots.
crew in.
No. that's-
Come on, Nate.
1114.
Mike, come on.
No, 1114. 111463.
really, really good.
Everybody get in.
Hey, Layla.
I mean,
Thank
there
you.
you go.
I would not have done this. I would never have done this without you.
Right, yeah.
Really good.
Hang on, I'm going to go in there too.
Anthony, come on. You get in too. Come on. We need you in here. Oh, got it. Come on, Anthony.
Come on, yeah.
It's an osseointegration.
Awesome integration.
On 3, Beaver.
Is that real?
Yeah. No.
Karen, we have to get a picture of you.
Yeah,
Is that the real?